Okay, I got two things that I'm still kind of looking at here. First one is UJ. Get that out of the way. There we go. You can see I had chosen this line here as a breaking test point. I like it even more now that it has that little tail that went up. Gives me fairly good confidence that it's not going to use that level any longer, at least for the time being. So I can look for an entry as it pulls back. Call it into this area here. And then look for a short to bring it down to this somewhere above, around this low here. So yeah, like that. I couldn't make anything happen there. Nice big gopher there. Still going almost all red. If I had to choose a limit entry, which I'm not certain about at this point, it would be right here in this little tiny bit of a gap right there. It's also low, low, low. So just kind of standard structure break and retest. That's what I'm looking at here. I was watching this guy, but it's now just kind of flopping around, which I don't really want to deal with. So it's probably a no-go on this one at this point. I'll keep an eye on it just because I have an overall idea that still could be okay. But here we go. We're starting to go green on this one, so I can start looking for the pullback. So this red line here is called the stop line. I can't use any of my trade buttons without it. Well, that's where it calculates stop loss to, based on either blue line would be limit order if I wanted to have something set up ahead of time. So I could put it in put in my hotkey there, and it would then throw in the limit order based on the distance there. Calculates a 3R target, which I think is probably too low for this one. We're looking in there for target. And that's how that works. I think it's going to be a little bit before it gets back up there, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and wait a bit. So I'm actually going to cancel this order too, because that's I'm not going to use a limit. And I'm going to bring my alert down to there, and I'll pause. Okay, well, while I'm waiting for this one here, this is kind of the setup I wanted to see earlier on the Euro US. I decided quick if I want to jump in. I was waiting until it got down. It tagged it right here on this low tail, and now it's here again. I have to decide though if this structure is enough to change my idea, or if I think it still has a little bit of room to go up. And if it has room to go up, do I do a short stop, a small trade, or do I give it a little bit more room to get up into this area? So those are my lines. I have to use the red one for stop loss area. I think I'm gonna drop it down below. I had it before, below 3 days ago low. And I'm gonna hop in right here for the long. That warning is just because my account's so small, I can't actually do a 0.5% risk like I want to. And now something that's new that you'll see if you just catching up here is this little gap here. Gives me a handful of information that I like to look at while doing these kind of trades, which is time to the end of candle, or time of the candle itself. it is based on every tick that it receives. So you see sometimes it'll jump if there's not a lot of ticks happening. And it will calculate as I go. The O is the open profit percent. The D is for daily total between all trades, and then the same thing for a W, but for week. So had a couple trades last night, and I'm at a negative 0.4%. It does not take into account commissions, swaps, and that sort of thing. It is just pure profit, which is enough of motivation for me to make some decisions on. So this will likely be just a small trade just to work towards getting this back towards zero. I don't think it has a ton of room to move up. Maybe breaking out to limit line, maybe somewhere in there. Yeah, so I'm actually just going to put a profit target up there. And we're going to go from there. So you can see it's moved up above entry, but it's not even enough to show up because it's a small amount. So, and I'm still waiting on this guy over here to finish its kind of pullback, and then I can look for an entry into short down to these levels again. So let's see here. You can see this big structure break here with some force, a big bear, lots of bears, and now it's doing its pullback. So I'm going to look for pullback that gets up into this area and then shows me engulfing. So like in the past, I would see this and I'd start getting excited. Oh, engulfing, time to get in. But it's almost always too early. So I'd rather miss this move and then wait for a better entry as it goes up there. So that's where I'm at now. This one's just barely doing anything, just kind of flopping around a little bit. So I'll pause again and come back once this guy starts giving me some movement, or if I get close to entry on the UJ. So I have this trade running. You can see I got a little bit of movement towards the direction I was looking for, but it might be showing that it is actually going to move lower, but we'll see. Because I do see this is the one I've been waiting for, is the UJ. It just touched that so far, and I want to see a big spiky move up towards my limit line. And I think with the way this is going, I'm going to drop a limit order in right there. So that will be my spot to look for entry. And see if it pops up there before moving down. If it comes to the point where trying to get this alert out of there. If it comes to a point where it gets back up here too, I'll look to add and ride two positions, 2 trades lower within one position. Same thing may happen here. I have lots more room on this one. You can see it's got still a ways to go. So I'll look for opportunity here for an add. So far, I like the looks of the UJ better. But we shall see. I like to get my add somewhere about halfway between my original position and, or I should say at least. I don't want to be adding in like right here below initial entry. I want to be somewhere halfway between, which I found out if you draw a rectangle, there's an exact middle dot, so it's right there. So you can look like that. And I've got the alert set up there, so we'll watch for that too. And it looks like while I was doing that, got in on this one as well. So um, I want to see what happens in this gap here. I like to watch some kind of studying as I trade, if you will. So, and for this one, I'm gonna look for an add opportunity up in here, right there. So, 2 trades running now. We'll see what the movement looks like here shortly. I'm gonna pause again and come back. Here, just gonna look in here at the 2 positions I have going. Both just kind of rocked into my direction, which I like. It was kind of looked good at first, pulled back. Now it's got a positive direction flow to it at least. Popped above this little pivot that I started with earlier. See, this one actually did tag that gap. So I could have, been a little bit more patient on that one because it did give a touch and gulf. So, could have waited a little bit, but it's at least still in the positive. So this is where I like my little statistics here. So if I close this one, you can see it will put me back to about 0 for the day and the week, about even. This one, if I had closed both of them right now, I'd be in a positive. So it gives me a little bit of a feedback for what. And whoops, wrong screen. A little bit of feedback for kind of what I'm shooting for. I'm sure it probably doesn't help long term, and that's something I need to look at it, because if it influences my decisions negatively, then I need to be aware of that, because it's if I'm like, oh look, I'm back to even, I need to get out, so I'm back even. That could be a necessarily good thing. So I need to work on using the information, but also basing my decisions on technicals and structure versus just the number on the thingy. So, and just like this, like if I see this as an opportunity, I think like I have quite a bit more room on this one before it becomes it reverses down. So I just move my target up a little bit towards below these 2 guys here, but above where I had it down here before. So we'll see what we get out of that. I'll leave it on 5 so I can see a little bit more. Don't need this anymore. I did leave myself a note here. If break test, remember, long as a short-term trade. It's not something that I'm looking to have go all the way back up to all the way up here. So keep that in mind. This guy here is the same kind of idea. Like I'm just trying to get out before it gets to this test level where I actually will probably look to go long, kind of reverse direction. So I think because this video is going to start getting pretty long, I'm gonna exit this one, say farewell, and come back when I see some sort of either add opportunity or exit opportunity. So farewell.